All right, hello and welcome to Modifier Monday, locating the modifier fact sheets on the WPS website. My name is Mary Sue Gardner, and I am a nurse on the Provider Outreach and Education team, and I'm joined today by Aline Sigler, who's also on the Provider Outreach and Education team and is going to be helping with the chat questions as they come in. This event is designed to help you find our modifier fact sheets that are available to all of our providers. So the focus is not a discussion on a specific modifier today, but instead how to find the information you may need regarding modifiers. At every event, we have to show you our disclaimer, and our disclaimer basically says, you know, we prepared this education as a tool to assist you, our provider community. And the Medicare rules often change, so it's your responsibility as a provider to make sure you are following the most current laws, rules, and regulations as they stand. All the information we're giving you today is based off of what is most current as of today. We are going to provide responses to questions based on the facts given. But Medicare, again, is the final determinant of coverage. Also, CMS prohibits recording of this presentation for any profit-making purposes. So if you happen to be recording it, we do ask that you please stop recording or don't take screenshots. We are recording it for you, and we will place it on our YouTube channel as an encore. My objective for today is to help you learn some best practices for interpreting and applying modifiers correctly, and that's by utilizing our fact sheets. So we're going to accomplish this today by learning how to locate and access those modifier fact sheets, and we also are going to make this interactive and allow questions and answers throughout so we can real-time navigate those things for you and show you how to find them. So on your screen right now is the WPS GHA website, and we're going to navigate to that in a little bit and go over the fact sheets. But before we start, I just want to give some background information. So as defined by the American Medical Association, or the AMA, and the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, or CMS, code modifiers enable medical record technicians or medical billing specialists or others with medical billing and coding training to provide more detailed description of services and procedures that are performed without changing the definition of those services. So for example, a modifier can be used to denote which side of the body a procedure was performed, or to signify that not all of the services in a bundle have been performed. Modifiers expand the coder's ability to report unique aspects of circumstances of services and procedures. They generally consist of two numbers or two letters or a number and a letter that follow your 5-digit procedure code. So the use of modifiers and medical billing really eliminates the need for the AMA to create thousands of separate CPT codes to account for details and circumstances associated with each procedure code that's needed. What are the advantages of using modifiers? Well, they enable healthcare providers to submit cleaner and more accurate claims, thereby avoiding claim denials. So they can also obtain the proper reimbursement by submitting claims that contain a higher level of specificity in coding. And finally, they improve reimbursement for services that have been rendered at the same time or in an unusual manner, depending on the complexity of the case. There are generally two types of modifiers in medical billing. There's the CPT and HCPCS modifiers and pricing information modifiers. So remember, insurance pays or insurance payers such as Medicare can deny claims if code modifiers are missing or they're used incorrectly. And that's why we really want to show you the fact sheets that we've developed on various modifiers, you know, in an effort to help you stay informed of the various modifiers and really to avoid loss of revenue. So again, I said on the screen is a picture of the website, and we're going to go ahead and pop on over to the website and kind of just start going through. Just give me just a second. I'm waiting for my computer to catch up, but if it doesn't, we can we can do this in a different way. All right. All right. So, Aline, I'm just going to have, I'm just going to have you verify that on the screen is our website.
I can see the homepage of the WPS website.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right. So, however you decide to get to the website is however you decide. I personally have a quick link that I use, and in my slide deck, I had an embedded link as well. But I want to show you if you open up a web browser, such as, you know, Google Chrome, Google Edge, even if you are using Safari, you can just go to a search bar and type WPSGHA.com and get to our website. So just the same way to, you know, to get there. I do advise that you keep this as a favorite. I have mine on my search bar so I can get there nice and easily. So once you are to our web page, how are you going to find modifiers? There's several different ways that you can find modifiers. So we are first going to use the quick link on the right-hand side of the home page. I chose my jurisdiction as J5 Part B. That's just what I chose when I had originally came into the WPS GHA webpage. But you would choose the jurisdiction that you are part of. But going back, one way to get to the modifiers is to choose the quick link on the right-hand side of the page. So as I clicked on that quick link, you can see there's a plethora of information on this page. This basically takes you to all things modifier page. So you can see first in here, we have some general information about modifiers. There's an introduction to modifiers that gives you additional information about what modifiers are. So I do encourage you to, you know, read over that. It has a lot of good information. I'm just going to use the back button. And again, especially if you're new to Medicare billing or new to billing at all, I really highly suggest that you read these articles, you know, that are out here on the general information. And even if you've been billing a long time, it's a good refresher to, you know, get a little background of what modifiers, the correct use of them and compliance issues and information like that. The next thing under the general modifiers is the information only modifier fact sheet. So here's where we really start in with the various different fact sheets that we have. So you can see under the information only modifiers, we have a plethora of different modifiers to choose from. Some of those that I see most often being a clinician is things like the information only for rehabilitation services, like the GO, GP, and GN. And these help the provider denote that you're providing services that are outpatient speech therapy, occupational therapy, and or physical therapy. So again, they don't change the billing, but they enhance the billing to let us, your payer source, know that your service is actually skilled speech language, skilled occupational, or skilled physical therapy. So as you scroll through, you can see there's, quite a few information only modifiers that you may use. All right, so I like to again use the back arrow when I go back to things, but I just want to talk about a few other modifiers that are on here that are used quite often. So the 25 modifier lets us, your payer source, know that there's a significant separately identifiable evaluation and management service. So if you are a Part B biller, this may be a modifier that you use quite often. Excuse me. And then again, another example is the 90 modifier. The 90 modifier lets us know that you're a reference laboratory or an outside laboratory. All right, again, I'm going to use the back arrow just to go back to that main page, the modifier main page. And I'm going to scroll down here a little bit and talk about some of the different categories listed here. So you can see based on what type of modifier you need, we've broken them down into categories. So if you need an ABN modifier, you can find those things there. Under the cardiovascular services, there are diagnostic procedure ones that might be of interest to you. And then down here, a lot of different documentation modifiers. So the documentation category is a little more general because certain services, require certain modifiers to exist not only on a bill, but they must be supported in the documentation. So I'm just going to open the KX modifier fact sheet, for example. So as we look at this modifier fact sheet for the KX, you can see that it's that this is a specific modifier that's pertinent to many different types of services. So using the KX modifier can vary from showing that continued outpatient rehab therapy continues to be medically necessary, like beyond the therapy yearly threshold, or as we have it listed down here, you can say that you're using the KX modifier to identify that a screening colonoscopy was reasonable and necessary after you got positive results from a stool-based test like a Cologuard test. So again, I just want to highlight that some modifiers exist and have different uses depending on the type of service that you are providing. All right, I'm going to use the back button, and we're going to scroll down to evaluation and management modifiers, or the E&M modifiers. So if I were a betting man, I would say that this is probably where most of questions in Part B we receive are about E&M modifiers. I mean, the questions that we receive about modifiers. So I just want to point out a few of them that are listed here. We highlighted the 25, and kind of looked at that a little bit ago. So let's look at the FT modifier and the fact sheet on the FT modifier. As you can see, this fact sheet states that the FT is to be used when there is an unrelated E&M visit either during a post-op period on the same day as a procedure or on the same day as another E&M visit, but not a Medicare billing visit. So that says that information right here. So this fact sheet then provides some information about the correct use of the modifier as well as incorrect uses, which we try to place on every modifier fact sheet. So depending on what you're looking for, we're going to give you information on how to use it correctly and what is incorrect. And then you can see there's some additional information about this modifier as well. So if there is additional information on any fact sheet, I highly encourage you to review that information as well. All right, using again the back arrow, I'm going to go back to the main page and just kind of show you some of the different categories. We're not going to open anymore unless someone puts something in the chat that they want to take a look at a specific modifier. But again, we've broken these down into different categories that make it a little bit easier to find what you are looking for. All right. Let's see. So with most websites, there's always several ways to find information that you're looking for. I'm going to scroll back and I'm going to hit the WPS GHA logo here at the top of the screen. And that's going to take me back to what we refer to as the landing page or the home page on WPS. So I know what modifier I'm looking for. How can I simply find information on that modifier instead of scrolling through the whole modifier page? So personally, I'm a searcher and not as much of a navigator when I go to look for modifiers. When I go to look for anything on a website, I just like to type into the website search mechanism and see what I can find. So in this case, I am going to type in modifier 50, and I'm just going to hit enter. And then what comes up in the search options are the things that are the most closely related to your search are going to come up first. So here you can see we do have a modifier 50 fact sheet. So then I can click on that link, and it's going to take me to the actual fact sheet, and I can research any information that I want to know about, you know, modifier 50. So if I were the type of person that was billing and I know I have to use a modifier 50, how can I ensure that I'm using it correctly? I can go straight to the fact sheet by just simply searching for it. So you can see some things on this is, again, we give you the appropriate usage for reporting this. This is a bilateral procedure, so services performed on both sides. And then it goes through when it's appropriate to use, inappropriate to use, when, you know, additional information about if there are surgery indicators, such as the indicator 0, 1, or 2, that's things you need to know, because if that bilateral procedure has one of these surgery indicators, it's going to affect your amount of reimbursement. So I want to make sure that, you know, if that's something that you are interested in, that, or that you use that modifier to denote a bilateral service, that you also know that could affect how much reimbursement that you are going to get, depending on the surgery indicator for that specific procedure. All right. Now let's go back up, and I'm going to go back to the home page or the landing page again. So maybe I don't remember there's a quick link here. How else can I find information on modifiers? Well, if you go to our topic center, and since this is a claims type thing, I'm going to look under the topic center of claims, and I'm going to be like, well, is there any information on modifiers if I go to the claims page? So I can scroll down and I can see, oh, on the claims page, there is a modifier link. And if I click on that, it's going to take me right back to that whole page on all the modifier information. So that's another way to get to your information. If I go back to the home page, give me just a second, waiting for my computer to catch up with me. All right. Again, depending on if you're a searcher or navigator, let's just say the searcher type person, and I go to WPS GHA, and personally, I'm not, I always forget about this quick link because I'm a searcher. So what if I just go here and type in modifier? So as I discussed before, and actually I'm going to type in modifiers because you'll see I get a little bit different information if I type modifier or if I include the S on it. So here's that link that's going to take me right back to that page with all those fee-for-service modifiers on it. But as I said before, if I'm a searcher and I just type something in there, your search results are going to bring up everything that's closest to your search result based on the keywords that you put into the search bar. So again, just to kind of show you, there is all the information, and then it kind of starts to roll into various different modifiers as well. But there is one link here that you don't find on this page, and that's the patient relationship modifier fact sheet. Now, again, it's patient relationship modifier fact sheets. They're used to identify a relationship between the patient and the physician or non-physician practitioner. So these, again, don't appear on the big list of fee-for-service modifiers because they're specific to providers that are participating in one of the quality payment programs or QPP programs. And you can find additional information about the QPP programs here. But like I said, I just wanted to point out it just depending on how you search is going to depend on the results that you get. If you're unsure about which modifier you need, then I always encourage you to go to the big list on the modifier page and start searching by the different categories. And that's going to lead you to, if we have information on one of those categories. Now, maybe, and modifiers come out all the time, so maybe a new modifier comes out, and we have not yet placed that into a fact sheet or developed a fact sheet on that. And you believe it'd be something that would be beneficial for you as a provider. Then we highly encourage you to, use the opportunity to provide additional information in our survey link and let us know you would like to see something on that because that's going to be something that will be prevalent in your billing. One thing I do want to point out, when we were showing you the presentation fact sheets, and I brought up the KX modifier fact sheet. You can see at this time we have not added the dental services to this. So that's something I just want you to know, that if you provide dental services under Medicare that are subject to use the KX modifier, that will soon be added to this fact sheet as well. Aline and I actually just did a presentation on that a couple of weeks ago. So if you need additional information on that before we get it added to the fact sheet, oh, you know what? I do see that it was finally added. I'm so sorry. I was wrong. Last time I looked, it wasn't on there. But we did actually host a presentation on the dental services several weeks ago. So it is on our YouTube page as an encore of today's event, or of that event. And before we move into the open questions and answers, I do want to take some time, to show you where you can find those encores. So all things education is under our training center tab. Of course, we always tell you are on our YouTube page, but you can go to our encore page on WPS GHA, and the most recent one, so those that, you know, are under 6 months old, we have a link for you out here on our website, and here's that dental one I was just talking about, and you can actually use the link here, and we have an embedded YouTube player in our website, so you don't have to go all the way out to YouTube to find it. Some people, depending on where you work, your provider may prohibit you from looking at any kind of like YouTube videos or any kind of social media. So in that instance, this is a great opportunity to view things that are less than 6 months old by utilizing this, and then our player will automatically play it through our website for you. So again, we're going to go back to our home page, and we are going to go into the open question and answer portion of today's call. And let me, all right. Let me go back up to the top. And Aline, do we have any questions that have come in through the chat that I can navigate and show providers?
We have not received any questions yet, and I did stick a reminder in the chat that if anybody has any questions related to the modifier fact sheets or how to locate them, that you can enter them in the chat, but we don't have any at this time.
All right. All right. So if you want me to see me, you know, locate something to look at a specific modifier fact sheet, definitely put that into the chat and we can go through that. But in the interest of time, I'm going to move on, and we're going to stop again before we close and, you know, go through any requests that you guys might have. All right. So on the screen for you, I just want to make you aware of a National Provider Enrollment, or PE, conference that is being held. So on August 28th and 29th, so at the end of this month, in San Diego, California, CMS, along with Noridian Health Solutions, is offering a free go-to event on provider enrollment. So all things provider enrollment. At this event, you can take advantage of the opportunity to meet with CMS, to meet with the MAC contractors on provider enrollment topics. You can learn how to maintain compliance with enrollment requirements, what to do if you're new to Medicare, if you're just enrolling as like a DME or you know, other type of enrollment. Aline did put the link to that conference in the chat for you. So if you're interested in that, that is in there. That's also available for you on our training topics page. So you can actually, and we're going to go back to the training center and to the live events. And I'm going to scroll down to the dates. And here you can see that we will actually link you out to that as well. So if you are interested, there's still time to enroll. Get a plane ticket. Who would not want to be in San Diego at the end of August? I know I definitely would like to be there, but I won't personally, but it is a great opportunity to go to a free conference as well. So I'm going to look one last time. I have not seen any questions that have come in. All right. So at this time, on behalf of Aline and myself, as well as all of Provider Outreach and Education, we want to thank you for your participation in today's event. This concludes our webinar, and you may now disconnect.